gin joints in all the towns in all the world. She walks into mine.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
There's no crying in baseball.
You talking to me?
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Wait a minute. You ain't heard nothing yet.
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You can't handle the truth.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Hello and welcome to the Old School Movie Club podcast. I think this is the 5th episode. This is going by really, really fast, Kevin. Speaking of that, Kevin is with me today. Kevin, how are you doing? Hey, everybody.
I am doing well. How are you doing, man?
I think we're both tired because we're recording this really early in the morning. Well, early to us, not early to most people. Like, I think we're just being a bunch of big babies about this, but
yeah, I mean, we don't normally have to be up and out and doing stuff at 10 a.m.
And now that you say 10 a.m., it really is just us being big babies about it. But anyways, let's get right into it. This week, we watched The Big Lebowski, the cult classic comedy film directed by the Coen brothers, The Big Lebowski, starring, wow, I just blanked on both their names.
Jeff Bridges and John Goodman.
Thank you. I don't know why I just blanked that hard on both their names, but I did. Jeff Bridges and John Goodman. I thought, going into this, you hear nothing but praise and admiration for this movie. So going to this, I was so hyped. And the first time I saw it, I was pretty disappointed. And what was your take on this?
Well, the first time I tried to watch it this week was pretty late at night, and I ended up falling asleep in the middle of it. Nice. But from what I could remember of it, I was fairly disappointed because I think I went in with too much hype.
I think that's a problem, and that's kind of like what I remedied the second viewing.
Well, I watched it a second time, and I was still disappointed.
So what? I think I have a little bit of different opinion than you. So, what were your overall thoughts on the movie in general? Just do a little rundown of your review of The Big Lebowski.
So I thought it was an interesting premise. I love the idea that there's two characters that have a same name that's an uncommon name, and it kind of ends up screwing each other. But I wish there had been more to this plot because Jeff Bridges' character literally was just pissed off about someone peeing on his rug.
The dude just wanted his rug back, man.
Yeah.
All the dude wanted was his rug back, man.
But if you think about it, the entire plot hinged on Jeff Bridges wanting to get his rug back or get a new rug.
Exactly.
Which is just too utterly ridiculous for me. And then the series of events they go through and twists and turns and double crosses is just unbelievably ridiculous. So all because the guy wants another rug.
So my first viewing of this, I felt very, very similar to you do, the way you do, in that I had no idea. The plot was easy enough to follow, but
it's very easy to follow.
Half the storylines never get resolved. You never hear about any of the other characters at the end of the movie, and I was kind of at the end of the movie, I was kind of shocked that it ended like that, and I was like, okay, what is this? What am I missing? There has to be something. I mean, people hold conventions about this movie, Kevin. People have written books about what The Big Lebowski means. I must be missing something. So I took to the internet and I researched and stuff. I was like, what am I not seeing here? And I kind of got all these different points of view of people that have seen the film, more in depth and stuff. And then I watched it a second time last night, and I still think it's a little overblown, the way people receive this movie. But I think the point of the plot being so stupid and so, kind of everywhere is that, it's centered around the dude, Jeff Bridges' character, the dude. And the dude doesn't care about anything other than getting his rug back. So all this nonsensical stuff, and the reason they don't like wrap up any other plot lines is because the dude doesn't care about all those other stuff. He just wanted to get his rug back, man. He just wanted to drink White Russians and get his rug back. And
he treats this rug like it's a long lost lover.
Yeah, and so going in like so their like their original like reason for this podcast is like to go in and see like, you know, do these old classic movies that are held to such like high esteem, like hold up to this like nostalgia and acclaim that they get. And initially this didn't for me. And even the second time I still struggle, even though I enjoyed it a lot more the second time I watched it, just kind of going in and like not caring about the plot or not caring about anything and kind of just enjoying the jokes. Cause the movie is funny. It is ridiculous, but it is funny and kind of like a ridiculous kind of way. And how the dude just reacts to everything, and how Steve Buscemi's character can never get a word in. But what were some more of your thoughts about like what would you think about at least like the comedy portion of this? If you were to take out all the plot, you know, the plot doesn't matter, and I think that even like the Coen brothers didn't like themselves don't think the plot really matters. They just wanted to make this like crazy movie. And it's amazing, like, how it has stood up like this. Like, how many people enjoy this movie? Kevin, there were 3 books, at least 3 books written about this movie. Explain this to me.
I can't explain that to you. I don't know why there are 3 books written about this movie. People write books about everything nowadays, because there's even a book written about The Room, and we're getting a new movie on that one. But
so what do you think about the general comedy, though? Because I actually did like, and I'm like, kind of, you know, I am that surfer kid almost that is like, dude, yeah, like I was like that in high school. So I mean,
you are that Californian stoner.
Yeah. So I was like, okay,
or more of an Arizonan stoner.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, this is funny to me, and this I get why the people think this is funny, but I just didn't get why people were like this movie changes everything. This movie is like the greatest movie ever made, that kind of stuff. But what did you think about like the comedy and stuff?
Yeah, I thought the humor was all right. I think there might have been a little too much attempted humor in it, because it felt like every time someone spoke, they tried to be funny. And a lot of it felt flat. There's no like gut-busting, extremely laughable moments in the movie for me. That's
very, very true. Like, not for me either. Like, there was never a time where I was like on the floor, like crying, laughing, but everything was like kind of like a subtle jab. And it's just like kind of the dude is just like literally just the dude. And you're supposed to be like laughing at that, like just him as a character. And it's just, it's weird in a whole bunch of different ways. And I ended up enjoying it a lot more than I did initially. But I can tell that you're not going to score this one favorably.
No, I mean, it still gets a decent score from me, but I love the banter between Walter and the dude.
Yes, and I think that's like the main point of the movie. Like the plot and everything is secondary to, you know, like even just setting up like their first scene together when the dude is trying to explain what happened to his rug, and it takes them literally like 15 minutes to explain what happened to his rug. Like, this guy peed on my rug. Like, it took them 15 minutes to explain that whole thing. And it was, I mean, I think that's the whole point of the movie, is just kind of like interactions between characters and not so much a big overarching plot.
Right. And I think my favorite character in the movie was the Big Lebowski, David Huddleston.
Really?
And, yeah.
The hot takes. The hot takes from Kevin.
The first scene, the first time that the dude and the Big Lebowski actually meet each other, and the dude is trying to explain why he's there and what happened to his rug, and the dialogue, the banter that comes back at him from the Big Lebowski is hilarious.
Yeah, and he's just like, but I just want my rug, man. Like, I just...
that scene it goes off in a completely different direction than you would expect it to go.
I think, yeah, that's how the whole movie is. It goes off in the absolute opposite direction as you'd think it would go. And
it's such a simple concept. He's there to explain that his rug got pissed on because they found the wrong Jeffrey Lebowski, and he wants either money for a rug or a new rug from the house, sort of. And he just but
it wasn't me that pissed on your rug, now was it?
Yeah,
yeah.
I thought that scene was hilarious, and I honestly I felt a little upset towards the end when John Goodman's character picks up the Big Lebowski and throws him out of his wheelchair.
I thought that was actually one of the funnier moments in the movie. I mean, it was a obviously it's not it's a bad move for him, but I mean, I just thought it was just kind of crazy, and funny. So what are your overall? What's your final take on this movie? Did it live up to the hype? Which I already know your answer, but again, reiterate: did it live up to the hype? What were some of your high points in the movie, and what's your final score on it?
Well, for me, it definitely does not live up to the hype still. I think it still can stand the test of time. Granted, it's only been 19 years now since the movie came out.
Which is, I mean, we're talking about this it's been out there forever. And this is by far the most recent movie that we've reviewed so far, so...
Yeah, this is not an old movie. It's younger than Our Sisters are.
By a long shot,
yeah. Yeah. And, I don't know, I love the acting.
Yeah, I thought the acting was I mean, like I said, the whole point of it was the banter and not so much this great plot, which obviously it didn't have, but...
Yeah, because I'm used to seeing Jeff Bridges as a gritty Western cowboy, or him playing that kind of character in whatever movie he's in, despite where the movie is set and what the movie is doing. Jeff Bridges is great in True Grit, which is another Coen Brothers film, and I absolutely love that movie. And he's also great in Hell or High Water, which came out last year. And
I haven't seen any of those.
Again, he's great here, but he's not playing his typical, gritty Western cowboy or policeman kind of character.
Yeah. He's playing the dude.
Yeah.
The dude
he's
abides.
Just the dude. So yeah, the acting is great. I like the banter between some of the characters. But other than that, I don't think anything is particularly memorable or special.
All right. Final score.
Final score for me is a 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think I'm pretty sure that's where I thought I was going to, I thought you were going to go. So I don't know how I should score this, because I think the point of this podcast is does it my initial viewing, what was my feeling on my initial viewing, but I gave this one a second chance because it was just people have such a craze around it. After my initial viewing, it probably would have been a 2.5 or 3 out of 5 because it's just a silly comedy. But the second time I viewed it and it kind of just took it for what it was, I'm going to end up going with the 4 out of 5. I actually really like it now. And I have all the quotes stuck in my head and can't stop repeating them.
Yeah. It's definitely quotable. That is for certain.
It's definitely some good quotes.
Very much so.
So, moving on from The Big Lebowski, we have another movie, obviously. We have another fan request. Kevin?
Yep. Shout out to my man, Jacob, for requesting that we watch The Shawshank Redemption.
And I'm actually surprised that you've never... Have you seen this before?
It has been many, many years since I remember seeing this.
Okay.
I have seen it before, but it was I had to have been in middle school when this happened.
So I've actually never seen this movie before. I've seen bits and parts, and obviously it's been parodied so many times in like cartoons and stuff that I kind of know the whole story, but I've never.
I remember very little about it. All I remember is Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I know it's going to be a good, like, you know, strong characters, strong directing, strong acting, and I know it's going to be a tearjerker. Or that's what I was expecting. I don't know. I don't know much about this movie, so I'm excited to go watch it. What's your initial feelings on this? You've seen it before, but it was a long time ago, so.
Yeah, I'm excited to get back into something that's a bit more dramatic and has more depth and substance to it. Because the last two movies that we've seen now with The Big Lebowski and Amadeus were both pretty easy to follow at like a surface level, and were a bit more comedic than what than like The Godfather. And even Jaws was really shallow. It's easy to just look at and follow it. So it's going to be nice to get something, again, that is a bit more dramatic, something that we have to be a little more deeper with. Yeah.
Well, that's just your opinion, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. All right. That's it for us this week. Next week we're probably going to make it a Saturday thing now, because it seems like, or Saturday or Friday, but, you know, contact us on our socials. Let us know what you think about these movies. Again, this is our movie club, not just me and Kevin's. We're just two guys talking over a phone about these movies, but you can join in the conversation too. Kevin, where can they find you?
Find me on Twitter and Stardust at KevWatchedAFilm, and on Letterboxd at KevWatchesFilms. And I
look at some of the tweets and stuff we get. That's about it. Kevin mostly mans it, but on Twitter at OldSkoolMovieSK, and on Letterboxd at or letterboxd.com/PatPat. Kevin?
Go watch movies.
Go watch movies.